Grand rising, everyone. Natalie coming to Life Spirit and Coffee. Got my coffee here. So yum. Bellissimo. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Just say random stuff. Who cares? Okay. As we were talking about the one thing, and the one thing that was really cool, which is what I've been talking about, which is where our power is that has been latent, hidden, and told we were wrong for having is our imagination, which is super critical. And it's one of the most empowering things that we have because it allows us to co-create. So pretty cool that the book is actually aligning with what I was saying. I don't know, a couple weeks ago before we got into this piece. The active imagination, where we find our philosopher's stone, where we find the Holy Grail, right? That's where we find some really cool stuff. Why? Because we're tapping into that collective consciousness, the collective consciousness and the unconscious. The unconscious being the space where archetypal energy is created. That archetypal energy being the connection to the gods, which is small g's, that is then created from the matter or the material of God. See, it's an energy. And it's a substance that we can't see, and we embody these archetypal energies. Now, little g, not the ultimate, grand, ultimate God, but there are this connection to the smaller gods, right? The G, the little g. Okay. So we're going to get into it. If we look up the definition of imagination in um, Lexicon of Alchemy, we read that the imagination is the star in man, the celestial or super celestial body. Therefore, the imagination is the divine gift, the piece of heaven concealed in man. The student in alchemy comes to realize the secret power of imagination during solarity and meditation. As the author of the Rosarium Philosophum, Rosary of the Philosophers, take care that your door is well and firmly closed, so that he who is within cannot escape, and God willing, you will reach the goal. Nature carries out the operations gradually, and indeed I would have you do the same. Let your imagination be guided wholly by nature, through whom the bodies regenerate themselves in the bowels of the earth. And imagine this with true and not with fantastic imagination. Good morning, Larock. Oh, I like your little Santa thing. I can't see what it says around there. Yeah, we got Christmas going. Are you a Christmas? Hey, GP man. I don't know if you're a Christmas person. I personally like the holidays and I like Christmas music. It's ridiculous. I think it's because it's very like the way it's orchestrated, right? Like the Christmas music, it's like this whole orchestra. It reminds me of Frank Sinatra. I don't know why. The music, the old school music. Or it reminds me of Willy Wonka, right? Trying to lift my spirits. Ah, good for you. So the star. Now this is important. If we look to the definition of imagination in the lexicon of alchemy, we read that the imagination is the star in man. Now the star. This is important, and this is where I would say 99.999% of the population um, doesn't get to. And this is where they say, "Oh, I'm so enlightened. I'm so, these people." I don't know if you say, they don't know. I'm just we're in a different frequency. Well, we might be tuned into a different frequency, but we're not better. We're not above, but we may have information, and we may be on a journey that gives us insight to information that if you're not on the journey, you're not going to hear or find. That's why they say they won't have eyes to see and ears to hear, because they're not tuning in. Hey, Linga, what's up? How you doing, buddy? So so again, when we talk about the star in man, most people won't even get to that point. And this is what separates a true alchemist from the masses. This is the piece that allows us to really ground who we are. Now, if you want to understand this work at a deeper level and start to really co create with the divine, it's going to take you understanding your stellar body. I've talked about this in many, many, many of my podcasts, probably like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I did diagrams and I was drawing things and showing people, right? Because I do this live, just so you guys know, my big face is on Facebook. If you ever want to see my big face, you can do that. But I used to draw out diagrams to kind of explain. And of course, people are like, I don't even know what the hell this is. And so, whatever. Okay. Okay, good. God woke me up to hear you right now. Oh, oh, good. Well, I'm glad. Yay. Thanks, God. And what the big key that people are missing is our stellar body, to understand that we have a stellar body. Now, there's a really good clues and ways of understanding this in the book that I had recommended. That's, you can get it on, um what is it called, the Kindle or whatever, for like cheaper. I don't know if they've taken anything out of it though. But if you want to buy the book itself, it's about $400. It's an expensive book. All right. Um, and so brought tissue this time, you guys. I have allergies, so I apologize if I'm over here like blowing my nose on the podcast. But hey, you know what? Real life, right? When they do reality TV, it's not really real, right? Otherwise, they'd be showing people blowing their nose, doing whatever, being human, dealing with the human stuff. Okay, so the stellar body. Now that book, again, like I told you, you can get it online. It's about 300, $400, but you can get it on Kindle. Again, I don't know if they take out stuff. But there's nothing like filling a book. What it does is it allows us to understand where we are in our stellar evolution. Most people won't understand this information. And like I said, 99.99999% of the population will not understand this. They will not come to it, right? That's why they won't understand it, because you have to be able to do this work and clear your mind and understand a lot of different things that are taking place. See, they didn't teach you all this stuff. You have to teach yourself. There's no school that's going to teach you this. None that I know of. Let me tell you that I've searched. Okay. Now, there was a bunch of seminars, and you know what is, you guys are on my, if you're not on my chat in Telegram, which I've added you, Linga, to, and nobody's been interactive on there, but in those places, there are seminars and that this woman and man did on the book, and on Yanwei. And I can tell you that that book will start opening up portals for you in ways that you won't even understand. And it's very powerful information. Things really start to shift in your life when you start utilizing that book. It's not for the faint of heart, and in fact, most people won't even touch it. It's really quite crazy how this works. I've put that book in front of people, and there's people that are like, nah, they won't even touch it. And it's because it's a very, very powerful tool. What's inside of that book is very powerful. You start to read it, things start to open up. I read it when I need to, right? Kind of like Linga said, I woke up, God woke me up to, then I know when I need to go in there and read it. And I just open up the book and it gives me exactly what I need. So you have the opportunity to do that. Okay. Yeah, and there's other tools, like you said, the Bible. If the Bible is your book, and that's good, but this is part of the Bible this is part that was taken out of the Bible. So I highly recommend that you have every part that needed to be in the Bible. There's pieces missing. So that's why I would say it doesn't tell you how to connect to your stellar body. They took those pieces out on purpose. Okay. Not because it's blasphemy, not because it's hurtful, not because it's not truth. It's because they don't want the masses to have this information, because then you become the creator of your own reality. You become the master of your stellar body. See, right now, it's kind of like collecting souls, right? If you see, the darkness is collecting souls. And the only way, that's why, so in the Bible, they say only few will come. It's like putting a camel through the head of a needle. It's not just following what the Bible says, it's understanding that there was shit taken out of it. If you go back in history, right? Man is corrupt. So you think that man is going to mass produce this book and give us what exactly what it said? No. They're going to hide pieces of it from us purposefully because man is flawed, okay? In a way, we're perfectly perfect, yes, but we do stupid things like I was talking about the other day, greed and all these things that come over us, power, control. So they've taken pieces out, okay? Is the spiritual development series in Telegram. No, but I can add that spiritual. And please, you guys are welcome. I heard Jesus has a long bloodline. Absolutely. You know, the blood, all of our bloodline, right? Is I also am reading the other day that God had a wife and was taken out of the Bible. Yeah, and there's a bunch of theories, right? We don't know, we weren't there. And so people that read the Bible, it's good, read the Bible. It's a beautiful book to read, and it has a lot of what we need. Okay, the yeah, he had kids. Okay, the thing that happened though is there is a great big chunk that was taken out. That great big chunk is the key that's missing. This is why we're stuck in this purgatory. That's why everybody's doing this whatever spell that these people have us under, right? Because they do. Okay, we can go back, the Rockefellers, we can do all of this stuff. Yes, the Vatican, which is one of the most, right? We can go into all of these systems. And the one thing that they took out is your stellar body. Now it's in tarot. So what did they do? They made tarot evil. They started to say you're evil, you're corrupt, you're a witch, you're a this, you're a Wiccan, we're going to kill you. You guys can't practice that. Okay? Why? Because they don't want you to know your value. They don't want you to understand your worth. In tarot is the process. We find that tarot relates to the Bible. It's not different from, it's the story of, it's another tool. It's a tool that's designed to help us on our journey. Gives us some insight. It's not to tell us the future. It's not fortune telling. Now, some people might say it is, and that to me, that's more sorcery than anything else. Okay. But I would say that here we are looking at a system that allows us to have some deep insight into what we call the active imagination and the macrocosm and the microcosm. When we understand these two things, these two concepts, and we learn how to interconnect the two, we become whole in ourselves. We consummate the sacred feminine and masculine within. That is the philosopher's stone. We are the holy grail. Our vessel was given to us so that we can work in tandem with God, so that we can co-create with God. And nobody feels like they're living in purpose with purpose right now. Or they're looking for their purpose and know how to find it. They're like, I know I have a purpose, but I don't know what that is. Well, yeah, because they totally didn't teach you. They took the piece out that allows you to interconnect with God. They took it away. They said, "Oh, only a few people, only through me," right? So we'll look at systems, right? And I'm not trying to put any system down, but I'm letting you know how it's structured, just factual, okay? You have to go in Catholicism, you have to go to a priest to confess your sins because they have to be the mediator to God. You can't have access to God, basically, is what they're saying. Well, that's not true. You do. And that was the biggest lie they told us is that you don't. You can't talk to God. You have to go through somebody else. No, you don't. You're an extension of God. And that's what all of the great teachers have told us, including Jesus. So when we start to look at the storylines and how we're interconnected, we ourselves are the vessel that connects between the above and the below. That is pretty powerful. And if we really understood the power that we have and how we are connected that way, I think that what would happen is the world would be a better place. We wouldn't have all the corruption because, in my heart of hearts, and what I believe is that most people are good and want to do the right thing. It's a very select few people who just want to go ahead and just manipulate and use sorcery. I think that the information got into the hands of those, and they went and they murdered and killed, and they slaughtered whole villages and people and made people bow to them. And now we have, if you look at it, I mean, just I saw something very, very disturbing the other day. I was watching a movie, and the girl gets on her knees and prays to Beyonce, and I thought, what the hell is this? These people think they're gods. Okay, if you look at the way Hollywood's going and these stars and whatever, they call themselves stars, right? You're hearing it. They name it, they label it. Listen to the words, understand the language that's being used. And we glorify, right? It says don't glorify, don't put people on a pedestal, yet we do, and we think we're not. But no, you see the masses of people show up to a musical event. Like they're just up there on stage performing, and somehow people fall at their knees for these people as though they are gods. And guess what? They're running around like they are. And they're saying, bow to me. Who are you to bow to? I bow before God, the ultimate grand, ultimate God. I don't bow to man. No. Here's the thing. I will bow, right? Like like Asians, whatever, bow, but I will not kneel before. Okay? I kneel to God. So understanding this, what that book is called, what it's called, the book of knowledge, um it's called Yahweh, the keys of Enoch, the book of knowledge, the keys of Enoch, not the book of Enoch, which is a different one. It's the keys of Enoch. If you look on Amazon, it's about $300. Okay. um let's see, Beyonce is a devil worshiper. I would say she thinks she's the goddess of the underworld. um and she's embodying an archetype, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Now archetypes live within us all the time. An archetype we could say is a small g, small goddess, small god that come, and the energy is embodied within us, right? So much Shah is starting to so much click for me after you said that. um After you said that, Jay-Z is literally Rockefeller Records. Yeah, of course. They all are. So that goes into kind of, Bahram hasn't been on here lately, but he does what he calls conspiracy theories. They're not conspiracy theories. They're just trying to understand what is going on, right? It's not really a conspiracy. They're calling it that. They're labeling it that because people are waking up. So they've got to, either they're going to call you crazy and loony, or they're going to kill you. Those are the two options that you have when you start to rise to power. You either join them and sign your name to the devil, right? That's what they say. I signed my soul away. I gave it away on paper. That's one. Two, you're becoming so popular that you're causing a ripple effect and change in consciousness, and you're starting to break their spell, right? Or people are starting to wake up from their spell. Now, let's just say I had a million followers. If I had a million followers and I was doing this work and teaching people the true essence of spiritual alchemy, they would shut me up. And there's a couple of ways that it would happen. Okay. One, they would call me loony, and everybody who follows those people, they're crazy. They need to be in a, they'd make fun, right? Or two, they would say, yeah, you're dead because your alchemy is too strong. And we can't let that happen because you're waking people up too much. So we see this throughout history. It's not a conspiracy. We know that that's what happens, right? When we see Tesla We see all these great individuals who are rising and saying free power, free this, free that. They're like, oh, hell no. Sorry, off. Cut off. Let me get your paper. That they were writing out their papers. They weren't hiding them. They wanted to bring it to the public, and they said, no, you're not going to bring it to the public. Your alchemy is too strong. You know how to harness electricity, and we're not going to let you do that. We're going to make people pay for it. Energy is free. People say, oh, it's not free. Yes, it is. Don't waste energy. There's no such thing as wasting energy. Energy is neither destroyed nor created. It just exists. We can harness energy. There's people who do it. The guy who did those, if we want to look at a guy who harnessed energy and was able to levitate rocks, right? It's the Coral Castle in Florida. The guy who was able to actually, he worked alone. He didn't work in the public. Why? Because he knew what would happen if they knew he had this technology, if he knew how to tap into this alchemy. So that's what I'm telling you guys, is that you guys have the power to tap into this. It's a long journey. It's not easy. It requires so much discipline that most people won't do it. I live there. I saw that story. Yeah, it's worth 95 Australian, which is about 300 USD. Yeah. See, so that book is pretty expensive, right? And that might be a used book, to be honest with you. Try to buy it brand new and it's like 500. The place is amazing. That's awesome. So you're in Florida, Lurock? That's where I'm thinking about moving. Something's calling me to Florida. Florida. I don't know why, but I feel it. So I think I might be there. Yes, it is used. Yeah. If you look at a brand new book, it's about 500 bucks. You don't know how the used condition is going to be for that much money. I would just pay the extra $200 and buy the entire book. Okay. That's what I say. Huge color. Yep. So that book is something that I'm going to continue, and very few people will buy it. And when you do, you won't. Some people can't decode it. It's not easy. I don't read it on here because I was told not to. Those are my instructions. I don't read that. I read stuff like what I'm reading now, which is a good book, and I think it's a powerful book, The Emerald Tablet: Alchemy for Personal Transformation, because it gives you a foundation of alchemy. And again it says alchemy for personal transformation, not alchemy for chemistry to cause corruption in the world. It's not what it says. Got a feeling my wife can swallow it. Oh, good. And I'm sure you will too. And the cool thing about that book, if you decide to get it, I have one, two, three people, if you get it, that will have it. That I don't mind organizing some kind of a um book study where we get together, right, and we talk about it. And it could be on Telegram. I think would be a good place to do that. At a book club, yes, where we discuss it, and your wife and me and you and my sister, because those are the ones, and those I'm inviting everybody. You guys are all welcome to be a part of this, right? The thing is that some people, they'll stay away from it. It's a powerful book. Something about it, they just know. You'll know when you're ready. That's what I'm going to say. You'll know when you're ready. And what it does is what it says here, the stellar body. You have to understand where you are with your stellar evolution. If you don't know where you are in your stellar evolution, you're going to be lost. That's why we're lost. They've taken out the most important piece of our journey. And it's sad. It's sad and by they, I mean these forces would try to take that away from humans. We cannot transcend without that. We can't move on without it. And very few will be on the journey looking for it. It's the greatest piece. But every time we search and seek, and if we're true seekers, we will find it. It's an everyday thing. I've been saying that every day. Every time I get on here, I say that every day, right? It's an everyday thing. It's not turn off, turn on. And you could, but once you know something, you can't turn back. There's no turning back. And that's what scares people. Once you know, there's a responsibility behind it and consequences. And if you do dark shadow work with this work, the consequences coming back to you are tenfold, and you can destroy your entire life. That's why I don't teach it. I'll tell you where you can get the information. You can teach yourself. We could do a book club to talk about it, but I literally do not want to have that responsibility of another individual. So I don't go through that. In the only way that I would teach people this is if it was a very, very few people, like one or two, and maybe that's it. Because it's a responsibility. If you look at it from Star Wars, all these people who do all these fantasy things have this information. When I talk, they're like, "Oh, you sound like that video game I play." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." You see, they hear it because they're playing those video games, they're watching the movies, and those movies come from this system. They share it with us, they give it to us, but people think it's not real. Oh, that's fake. Mm-mm. You are part of it. What if her her cat was wrong? Oh, and the like okay, I don't know what you're saying there. I'm sorry. And I don't know what that is. Sorry, I think I'm not sure what that means. What if the guy who wrote the book is wrong? Well, you just got to read it for yourself, right? I don't say that they're right. I follow my own self. Okay. Just like the Bible, there's misdirects everywhere. And you have to understand this information to know where misdirects are for yourself. The guy who wrote the book, what if he just was a mis what if it was just yeah. That's what you're asking. So I don't just go, "Oh, hey, this theory is the theory." No. And it's beyond a theory. It's having you look internally, right? Yeah, of course I've thought it. Yes. I don't just read anything, and I wouldn't even recommend it if it's something that I hadn't myself understood. Um, I've read tons and tons of books. I read and read and read and read and read and read and read. I'm a reader. I'm a writer. Um, I'm getting educated from college who we have professors who are speak my language, understand what I'm talking about, which is really cool. They give me deeper insight. Um, but I've been doing my this journey since I was 3 years old. So it's not just thinking about it. I've applied stuff to my life. I have my own alchemic process that I apply to my life. Yeah. So you are looking for yours, right? And it is an investment. That book is an investment. It is an investment, but I almost want to say eventually it'll be out of print or the price of it's going to go up and up and up. I'm not sure. I don't know if there was just a few and they're not printing them anymore. I don't know why the book is so much. I didn't even look into why. I just know that if you go online, it's expensive. And I think when I bought it for it wasn't expensive. And it's funny because I'll tell you the story about that book. I was in a store that I used to go to, metaphysical store, and I would go and look at the books that they had, and they always had books that were unique and different. It was never just like your, popular books that were on the market. And this one day it was like, go to the store and get a book. And I just knew I had to get a book. And I said, okay, I was looking for some deeper meaning. And I gotta go in 2 seconds. And so I went and I kept looking at that book. I kept looking at that book and I'm like, no, I don't, this book doesn't look like, and then it was like, no, you're getting that book. And it was like, I think $100 at the time. I bought the book and that lady goes, she goes, you want to know something that's very interesting? She said, this book, right, that you're getting, we've had that on our shelf for years. She said, and we've only had two. She said, and someone just bought one 2 days ago. and now you bought it. She goes, that's interesting to me. So the book was being called forth because whoever else bought it is doing their alchemy. So if you're an alchemist and a true alchemist, you'll probably come to this book. It might be part of your alchemy. And why is it $300, $400? I don't know. Maybe you guys can do the research and find out why and tell me. I don't know. I'm not judging. I just wanted to ask the hypothesis to give a chance to explain. Yeah, absolutely. I know you're not judging. It's okay. And even if you are judging, it's all good. You should judge it. Not judge, but you should question everything. Okay, love you and thank you now for guiding me. Um, you got me to this book. Yes. In also we're doing the retreat. I will send the link out tomorrow for those who want to do it. Please come to it. It is a spiritual alchemy retreat series. We have 5, 6 different people that will be speaking at that. It's every Thursday in January, and we would love to have you join. I know the times might not be, um, you know, I don't know if they work for you, but I will be doing that. Okay. Um, so there you go. I have to go. I have an appointment. So I love you guys. Mwah. Have a fantastical day, and I'll see you soon. Sorry I couldn't get to the comments, Frankie. I usually do read them. Um, thank you for actually engaging, though. I appreciate it. Okay. Have a good day. Love you guys. Bye bye.